J.G. Sandom. I'm a novelist, a lifelong storyteller, and the founder of Cremstar, a company working to modernize how we care for people at the end of life. This series is called Last Things First, conversations about mortality, memory, and meaning. Last month, we talked about the importance of ritual. This month, I want to talk about wabi-sabi, a Japanese way of seeing beauty in impermanence, and what it might teach us about death care. And I want to begin with this. If you're watching, you can see that I'm holding a small Etruscan vase, nearly 2,500 years old. It's a dark, simple, unglazed, and rather imperfect. Not especially valuable from an auction point of view, but to me, it's precious. Someone once held it, someone once drank from it, someone may have raised it after a dinner party and toasted the alien gods whose temples are now dust. And somehow, this little clay object is still here. And what fascinates me is not that it survived untouched. It has scratches, marks, and a thin line running across it. Who did that? Who made that? It carries time on its surface. And that, I think, is why I love it. The Western tradition has not always taught us to love what time does to things. We've tended to value the ideal, the platonic form, symmetry, proportion, perfection, permanence, the thing purified of accident. Plato gave us the form, not a table, but tableness. Not this table, but scratched by use and softened by years, but the perfect idea of table, timeless, flawless, unchanging. That way of seeing shaped our aesthetics. It also shaped our fear. If perfection is timeless, then aging feels like failure. Wrinkles become defects, scars become damage. Death becomes the great insult to the ideal. But life is not ideal. Life is particular. This body, this face, this old table, this chipped vase, this family with its loyalties, fractures, laughter, absences, and silences. Eastern traditions offer another way to look. The Japanese idea of wabi-sabi asks us to see beauty in impermanence, irregularity, weathering, and change. Not as flaws, but as the truth of things. A bowl is not less beautiful because it's cracked. A face is not less beautiful because it is aged. A life is not less meaningful because it ends. Indeed, it may be because life ends that it has meaning at all. Nothing is. All is, becoming to misquote Heraclitus. That is a hard idea for a culture built on youth, control, acquisition, and endless self-improvement. We're surrounded by images of impossible smoothness, faces without age, bodies without history, lives edited to look as though no grief, failure, illness, boredom, or death ever entered the frame. But that frame is false. Cracks are real. In Japan, there is an art called kintsugi, in which broken pottery is repaired with lacquer mixed with powdered gold or platinum. The damage is not hidden, it's illuminated. The golden cracks seem to say, I have lived, I have broken, I've been repaired, I am not timeless, I am time-full. Time-full. Not outside time, like some platonic ideal, cold and perfect among the stars, but within time, marked by time, made meaningful by time. This is the shift death care needs. We do not need to make death pretty. We do not need to sentimentalize it or disguise it or pretend it's not disruptive or painful or strange. But we do need to stop treating death as if it were a violation of life. Death is not outside the pattern. It is part of the pattern. The falling cherry blossom is beautiful not despite the fact that it falls, but because it falls. And that is why planning for death is so difficult, not because the paperwork is impossible, it's not. Because planning asks us to admit that we are not exempt. Not our parents, not our spouses, not our children, not our bodies, not our homes, not our objects, not our ordinary Tuesdays. All of it exists in time. To plan is to admit impermanence. And that admission does not have to be grim. Indeed, it can be clarifying. That's why we created My Exit Plan, a free end-of-life planning system available at Cremstar.com. My exit plan grew out of that spirit, not as an attempt to defeat death or to create a perfect document for a perfect life, but as a practical, imperfect, useful thing for imperfect human beings. Fill in what you know. Leave blanks where you must. Come back later, change your mind, share it with someone you trust. The tyranny of perfection is one reason people never begin. A half-finished plan is better than silence. A named keeper is better than a family searching through drawers and phones and passwords and memories in the raw first hours after death. The point is not to control the future. The point is to honor the fact that there will be one. As I look at this 2,500-year-old Etruscan vase, as I turn it in my hands and consider each nick and scratch, I think about my own wrinkles, brown spots, and scars, and I have to smile a little. Once, someone toasted the ancient, eternal gods and took a sip of wine from this small, simple cup. But where are those ancient deities today? Trapped in eternal youth, that nectar of Western dreams, do they sit idle and all-powerful, waiting for something, anything new to happen? In truth, I pity them. However colorful their feast, how dull and flavorless it must be, for they will never taste the sweet fruit of mortality. If this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to explore more about planning ahead, honoring memory, and making thoughtful choices for yourself and your family. Death does not have to be frightening, unsettling, or unwelcome. Death is as natural as childbirth. You can learn more at Cremstar, Memory Box, or Final Spring. And please, carry this conversation forward with someone you love, because sometimes the last things really should come first.